Support for Up First Winter Games comes from NPR sponsor Allianz Travel Insurance. Get ready to give ordinary the cold shoulder with protection for adventures that give you the best kind of chills. Learn more at allianztravelinsurance.com.
It seems every Olympic Games give us the kind of drama Hollywood spends millions trying to manufacture. There are stories of triumph, tragedy, heartbreak, last-second victories, and impossible comebacks. So it's no surprise filmmakers have tried to bottle up that magic for the big screen. Whether it's based on a real-life miracle or a cool take on an unlikely Olympic journey.
So this is it. We could see history in the making.
Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's bobsled time. Hooray!
Since it's Olympic season, we thought we'd have a little fun and discuss which movies deserve the gold. So I called in resident film fanatic and all things considered producer Marc Rivers. He produces and often appears on its weekly movie discussion segment. So here now is that conversation. All right, so Marc, how are you liking the Olympics so far?
So I gotta say, the Winter Olympics to me are kind of an odd assortment of athletics. Because on the one hand, you have events whose qualification as a sport I find a little bit dubious. Looking at you curling, sorry.
Curling.
And then on the other hand, you have events that fall more in line to me with what Tom Cruise does in the Mission Impossible movies. Like when I watch downhill ski racing, I think to myself like a mother, like, oh my God, honey, don't do that. It's too dangerous. But
I would jumping too. Right?
Both. I'm terrified of just watching it. But I would say ultimately, it's the stories and the narratives that draw me into the Olympics, no matter what sport it is. If I'll give curling the time of day if there's a good story involved with one of the players.
So like rooting for the character and the person, not necessarily the uniform.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So, with a lot of Olympic movies and maybe a lot of sports movies, but Olympic movies, I feel like they can be put into different buckets. So tell me what 3 buckets you have Olympic movies in.
So I think one easy bucket is it's based on a true story. Think of the Chariots of Fire from 1981. Yeah. Everyone knows that famous running music.
Even done it, right? Yeah.
Everyone's done that. About these 2 English runners in the 1920s, both kind of running for different reasons. One is running for God and country. The other is running to kind of counter anti-Semitism that he's facing. Yeah. You also have something like Miracle. About the famous Miracle on Ice. In the 1980s, right? And then you have more fictional takes. I'm thinking of Blaze of Glory. Right.
Yes, that's where the comedies come in.
That's where the comedy comes in. And, that movie is kind of great contribution to the culture. It's probably the sampling of it for a Jay-Z and Kanye West song. Or something like Cool Runnings. These kind of movies don't really take the Olympics as seriously. I say they kind of like kid the Olympics a little bit. Mm-hmm. Then you have Olympics movies that are more where the Olympics is more in the background or more kind of a jumping off point for the real plot. Yeah. That's something more like Munich, the 2005 Spielberg film. Or Foxcatcher, another really kind of grim movie. Those films are kind of talking about more things than just, are they going to win the gold medal at the end of it, right?
Yeah, we're going to dance to one song and one song only.
Exactly.
Cue the music.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so when do they miss the mark? Like, what do they do to miss the mark for you?
It's when they're kind of caked in that Hollywood syrup.
That's good stuff, man. That's the sugar.
No, it's too much. It's too much. It's giving me diabetes. Like I need it to kind of earn its sense of importance. Right?
Nutritious. You need it to be a little more nutritious.
Yeah. So I thought of a film. I thought of this film Race, which about the legendary Olympian Jesse Owens. Yeah. And that title started to kind of tell you about how cringe this movie is.
And they tried a little something with the title.
They tried
to kind of give you a sense of what the movie and the historical thing is about.
This is one of the great stories in Olympics history, right? Jesse Owens, this famous runner who essentially shattered Hitler's illusion of Aryan supremacy in the 1936 Olympics. But you don't get a sense of who Jesse Owens is. And, in this film, Jason Sudeikis plays Jesse Owens' coach, and Jason Sudeikis gets equal screen time to Jesse. He's a co-lead. I know he's playing his coach, but I just felt like it was trying to both tell the story of Jesse and also kind of tell the story of the political maneuvering behind those Olympics. There was questions of whether America should even participate, and by trying to do both stories, it kind of fails at both. So that was one movie that didn't totally work.
That did too much.
It did too much, And also, it was just too textbook, not even tech. It was like children's book history almost. It was kind of la-di-da of history, and it didn't convey to me the complexity of that tale.
So I'm starting to understand you a little bit. Narrow your focus. That's what you would tell filmmakers.
I need micro, not macro.
All right.
Yes.
So I'm going to list a couple of movies that I like, and you
do.
can tell me if you agree. So we're going to start, because it's the Winter Olympics, 2004's Miracle, about the 1980 USA hockey team. We're going to start with this clip.
This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. I'm sick and tired of hearing about what a great hockey team the Soviets have. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
So that's in the locker room right before the United States takes on the Soviet Union. Yeah, in the big game. And they wind up beating them at Lake Placid in 1980.
Don't hate me, A. I have not seen Miracle.
You have not seen Miracle. Wow.
I'm not much of a hockey fan, I should say. And also, my Miracle on Ice was when Team USA beat Iceland in D2 the Mighty Ducks. That's my Miracle on Ice.
That was not an Olympic story.
Sometimes the fiction supplants reality, A. Sometimes.
Yeah. So was that clip too syrupy for you? Was it too much like slathering on? I mean, it actually happened, which I think makes it actually good for me.
That does help. And I think Kurt Russell, it's a lighter slathering. I mean, he can really sell the slathering of the syrup.
But so, okay, let me ask you this: are you a hockey fan?
Not a hockey fan.
No. So so when it comes to these kind of movies, did you have to like the sport to actually even give the movie a chance?
I think liking the sport is a good entry point, but if the movie is doing its job well, you don't need to be a hockey fan. You don't need to be a track and field fan. Like, the characters are what grab you. The stakes are what grab you. And I think if that's working, it doesn't really matter what sport it is.
Okay. So what about some of your favorites?
So one of my favorites, I might have already mentioned, Can You Feel the Rhythm? Can You Feel the Rhyme? It is Cool Runnings,
Yeah.
1990s film about loosely inspired by the first Jamaican bobsled team. And this is another sport that I didn't really have any attachment to growing up, and I still don't have any attachment to it. These characters are so colorful, and it's such a quotable film. One of my favorites being this one here.
I see pride. I see power. I see a badass mother who don't take no crap of nobody.
You really see all that?
Like, it's just so good.
Wearing the sweater too.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times that I quoted that as a kid. And John Candy plays their coach in this film. And what I like about his performance in this is that he doesn't overstate. He doesn't crowd the rest of them. He knows this is not his story. So that's a really good one. Another one that I thought kind of flew under the radar is from 2024. It's called The Fire Inside. So this is about the female boxer Claressa Shields. She was the first boxer, male or female, to become the undisputed champ in 3 different weight classes. First American to win consecutive gold medals. An amazing story. And what's great about The Fire Inside is it's about the false promises of glory. This movie is all about how winning in the Olympics doesn't necessarily get rid of all the problems you kind of started out with when you went on this road, right? And let's hear a clip about that.
You wasn't in the fight.
Why wasn't I there, huh? You know why? Because we broke. Because we broke. I don't make one damn penny being your coach. I'm a volunteer. I do this for free. Matter of fact, I'm losing money and losing shifts to coach your ungrateful ass. You got a gold medal. Well, good for you, little girl, because we got bills around here. And I got all your mouths to feed. Remember that.
You know what? I'm done here.
So yeah, I just found it a more kind of just realistic story about the Olympics that we don't often get. It's not bathed in this glow of victory, but it's kind of it's drenched in the kind of just the hard, cold reality of kind of what it takes to win, and also the disappointments that can come after that.
It's so funny that you mentioned the glory being maybe this false idol, because on this podcast, we talked to Scott Hamilton not that long ago, who talked about that, how his Olympic gold medal, I mean, he gave away every single medal he ever earned because he didn't want them to feel like they were some shiny object that he needed to chase for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and there's a scene in this film where Claressa almost gives away her gold medal. She almost pawns it in a pawn shop because she's trying to help her mom pay the bills. So yeah, I really appreciate movies that are more realistic about those kind of expectations. Sometimes that glow of victory is a fantasy.
Now, there are some movies, though, or some Olympic events, things that have happened in the Olympics that I feel that probably could get the movie treatment. So the 2004 Argentinian Olympic men's basketball team.
This is very you.
So, so think about this, because they were the first team to ever beat the Dream Team. When the Dream Team became a thing for Team USA, when they stopped using college players and used NBA players, they beat them first in 2002 at the FIBA championships. So they had that in their pocket. But then at the Olympics in Athens, it was thought, okay, the Dream Team's just going to, just forget about that loss and just go on and win the gold. They didn't. Argentina beat them. That's an incredible story. And I'm writing that movie, and I'll cast myself as Manu Ginobili.
Will you be present day Manu looking back on this? Or well, you know what? No, you know what?
AI can help me de-age.
AI has come a long way, so I can see it. I can see it happening.
What about some movies that maybe some events that you think might get the good movie treatment?
So, if Hollywood, if you're listening, I want a do-over on Jesse Owens, please. Just do that right over. We'll pretend this 2016 movie did not happen. But I'll also say, something along those lines. I would love to see the story of the track and field sprinters, John Carlos and Tommy Smith. These were runners. Tommy Smith, they won the gold, and Carlos the bronze, the 1968 Summer Olympics. And they became famous, or infamous rather, for doing a Black Power salute during the Star-Spangled Banner. And they were vilified for this, vilified by the Olympics, vilified in the press. And I feel like Tommy Smith and John Carlos' story finds real resonance today if you think about that Ukrainian Olympian who was banned for wearing a helmet painted with dead Ukrainian athletes and coaches in Russia's war against the nation. So yeah, I mean, this is a political story. It is not a story of victory necessarily, but it's one that finds new relevance today, I feel.
All right, that's All Things Considered producer Marc Rivers. Marc, thanks a lot.
Thanks, it was a pleasure.
The Olympics are about more than medals. They're about the stories, the sacrifices, and those rare moments that bring everyone together. NPR's covering the wins, the heartbreaks, and everything in between, from first-time athletes to history makers. If you're enjoying the ride, support the coverage by hitting the blue donate button. Thanks for being part of the team.